Hey Eurovision fam, it's Alicia. Michelle, I am excited today because the interviews keep on coming. And the interviews keep on coming from one of my favorite Eurovision national selections. It's Serbia's national selection, Pesma za Euroviziju. I'm working on it. I'm going to be perfect at this. But I don't have to worry about that because I've got actual real help today. Zorja, who is a returnee, I should say, to the Pesma stage, is back. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for inviting me, and you said it. You pronounced it correctly.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're going to get to another Serbian lesson because, one of my things is when I'm really jamming to a song, I want to make sure that I'm able to say some of the words correctly and not just be mumbling along. And your song is one of my favorites, so I've got to figure out some of the words. But we'll get to it. We'll get to that part later. You got to tell me, Pesma to me is like one of the national selections that over a relatively short period of time has just become one of the powerhouse national selections I think we have in the lead up to the Eurovision Song Contest. You were there before. What made you come back?
People made me come back. My audience, they really loved our work with Zorja and with Zorja and Zorja. So after 2 years, I had like enough of messages coming to me like, you need to do this, you need to do this, we want you to do this. I also wanted to do it sometime again, but I didn't plan to do it this year. And somehow it all aligned, and I'm here and I'm happy because of it, and I'm grateful also to my audience for like giving me this push.
I'm glad that they gave you the push because I'm happy to have you back. Now, this song is epic. It's a song that when I listen to it, I feel like I see it. Can you tell people a little bit like what was the inspiration point behind the song and a little bit of a window into the creative process of putting the song together?
Thank you so much. I'm so happy that not only people who understand the lyrics immediately, I love it, but also people who just enjoy the music and have this vision of what we wanted to create, even though they don't understand the lyrics. So I'm gonna translate a little bit and say how it all began. So our producer, he actually at one moment had an idea like we should make a song and it should be like something different from last time, and we were like, okay, I'm not sure I want to do this, blah blah blah. What do I do? I'll let somebody else write a text for me, lyrics for me, and let's see how it goes. If we're satisfied with it, we're gonna roll and it's gonna happen. If not, it's still okay, we're gonna try next time. And then, because I had no inspiration, because at the moment I was not quite well in my inner world, uh, Lazar, my husband and my coworker, and also the author of the song, he said, "Let's try to do James Bond thema because it's so epic and it's so I can real as a singer, as an author, as performer, as a person, I can really relate to this music wherever it's like in what way possible it's like made. I find myself in it." And he was like, let's try to do it ourselves. So we started working on music. As we do, we sit in a room and Lazar starts playing, and I'm like, okay, but let's add this. And he's like, no, let's not add that. We go in circles until we find what works the best for both of us. And about lyrics, first, Vladan Maksimovic wrote the whole lyrics, but it was good lyrics. But I was not completely into it. I was not like, this is my song, this is me, this is what I'm going to present. So I was like, I'm also gonna try to write, but let's work together and stuff. So some of the lines that he wrote really inspired me, and I found the purpose of the song within. And the purpose is, who am I? Who am I? And I'm like, I really need to answer this question because I think it's very important in any artist's life to realize, to search for who they are. So the text came. It was like this. I mean, I wrote. throw it to garbage. And then at one moment it was like, oh, this is it. Okay. Then we went with it and then recorded in beautiful church with beautiful people from Neubrandenburg Philharmonie in Germany. So yes, I'm gonna stop talking now.
I think that message, this idea of like searching for oneself, is pretty universal. It's something that everyone, I think, finds themselves at a crossroads at some point in their life. Now, you said your collaborator is your husband.
Yes.
What is it like working with? I'm not married. Okay, I have a child. I have a 3-year old.
Oh,
That's what I have to deal with, so I can only imagine, like, what is it like collaborating with someone who is your
living
partner?
with you.
Yeah, and living with you.
Well, not like living with a 3-year-old child for sure, but it can be challenging at times. But it's also very unique because we go through this process together and it has up and downs, and we meet the sides of our personalities that we would have no other way meeting. So it can be very nice and very interesting and very it fulfills us, yeah, my English. And also it can be challenging when we are not agreeing about something. It can be very, you know, he has one opinion and I have another, and then we don't meet, and then we just wait a little, and then we usually listen to him.
No, it's good. I think, in any creative process, sometimes if you're just creating by yourself, you can kind of get lost. It's sort of
Yeah.
nice to have someone to go, okay, what do you think of this? Am I crazy with this? Like,
Yeah.
what if I do sort of this note? Now, your voice is amazing. Can you tell me a little bit about, what do you do to sort of maintain your voice? Because to me, I think there are people who are singers and then there are people who are like vocalists. And to me, vocalists are like the athletes of
Yeah.
singing, it's sort of pushing yourself. So what things do you do to maintain your voice, to strengthen it? And, maybe even what you've done perhaps in the past to get your voice to where it is now.
As a singing teacher, also, I have to say I had different stages and different relationships with my voice throughout my life. I always known that I can sing and that what I'm doing is not wrong, but I never perceived that as wonderful or amazing until I actually started practicing. So when I studied violin and I graduated, and I was like, okay, what now with my life? Then I was like, okay, let's develop more of my talents, and I started singing lessons with my teacher Andrea, and I was like my vocal coach and my life coach also. And I was like, okay, this has so many chapters to be open, so many doors to be, so many things to explore. I was in a traditional singers group, and there I explored my volume, let's say. But I didn't explore as much my technique for other genres, so I wanted to explore more. So I started also a very important thing is I started singing on streets to break this moment of fear of stage fright and also earn money because I was student in the moment, so I was like, okay, I need to do both at the same time. So it was perfect because I really did lose my stage fright, also had a lot of experience, and also realized how people react to my singing and what they like and what they don't like. And it's like I have this tool that can make people feel happy, joyful, also sad, also powerful. So I was like, okay, I can do this with my voice. And then I just continued developing it. And also with my students, I learned a lot because different singers, different voices, different problems. So I'm just getting more and more information. So that's how I became a vocalist. And
I
thank you.
love that. No, I love that. And I'm gonna nerd out a little bit. I'm gonna ask one more vocal question just because
Okay.
I love music and everything. What is like a common vocal mistake you see maybe young performers do with their voice? I'm just curious if you have a thought on that.
Yeah, I just realized I didn't answer your previous question, but it's okay. I'm gonna connect those two. So, common mistake is they don't treat their voice as their part of themselves. It's your own organ. You already use it, and when it comes to singing, suddenly you feel like it's not you anymore. So I really work on this with my students and also with myself. When I come to a challenge, which is also liko ogledalu, it's a challenge, and I'm like, when we were making the song, Lazar told me, you can sing everything now, it's not gonna be problem then. And when we recorded a song and some time passed and stuff, and I'm like, suddenly I cannot sing anything. Suddenly I forgot how to sing. So it's the most common mistake. Like, people forget that they already use this thing, and you just have to enhance everything that you already know how to do naturally. So, sleep, water, mental exercises, also liberals. Yeah.
All right. So we know Eurovision and Pesma. It's not just about the composition of the song. We know it's how you decide to bring the song to life. So when you're sitting down, and I don't know if you've already planned out, you don't have to tell us what you're going to do on the stage, but what do you kind of do to prepare to figure out how you want to deliver the song live, visually to people?
I can say that we already have everything planned. We already had some rehearsals. And for me, it's like the way you said, I can see the song. So I see things when I'm singing. It's like I'm coloring. It's like when I also draw, so I know this feeling. So it's like I'm filling up the drawing with colors. And with my body movement and my facial expressions, I just let it go with my feelings. I also, of course, with time you learn certain expressions and etc. and then you use them. But I also let myself feel the moment and go with it because it's most what people like. About performance, yeah, it can be difficult sometimes, especially when you have a difficult song, to follow all the things that your kako se kaže režiser? Režiser, director tells you. Yes. So yeah, I just go with it, but I also like to plan it.
Okay. And so with Pesma, I feel like when I was interviewing some of the participants last year, everyone was saying that there's a little bit of a changing of the tide, a little bit of a shift in the way that Serbian folks are looking at the competition. And I would say I think we're feeling it outside of Serbia. It's like, okay, yeah, this national selection is something to sort of tune into and see. But what do you think about the shift of people in Serbia sort of looking at the song contest, not just Pesma, but even Eurovision?
Yes, I agree, and I see that because I think in past people didn't actually find it as a way of expressing something, and now we have so many different people and so much different music that that anyone can find something for themselves there, and everybody feels welcome, and that's the point of Eurovision. So I think when that transferred to Pesma's Evroviziju, then everyone came.
I love it. And I do want to ask, so just to have fun, I'm an American Eurovision fan, so my history with Eurovision isn't as long as some folks who are actually European. But do you remember your first like Eurovision memory?
Yes, of course, it was Molitva from 2007. I mean, I was young, so I was like, wow, this exists. And there was no internet at the time at my house. So I was like, this is possible. And I feel that is kind of way I want to express myself someday. And after that, my strong memory was also Alexander Rybak because he also plays violin and sings. And for me, that was like, this is also possible. So it made me feel that what I do and what I feel is possible. And that's a beautiful thing when you're a child.
Yeah, yeah. I love that. The idea of thinking of Eurovision as like kind of cracking open the door of possibilities for young folks at home. And I'd like to believe that Eurovision is still doing that. Now, Eurovision has gone global for the first time ever. Last year,
Yeah.
people like me could actually vote at the Eurovision Song Contest. So they have a whole thing called the Rest of the World vote. Now, it's not like we don't have a jury or anything like that. It's just like voting online. So, like a televote sort of situation. But what do you think about the fact that now Eurovision, people outside of Europe are able to vote?
I didn't know about that. So that's amazing actually, because it just grows more and more, and I think it's some kind of way to unite all the people, like just not think about countries or continents or like, where you come from and what's your culture, so it just connects, and that's wonderful.
So now this is my signature question. I ask everybody this question. If you now I'm assuming you've heard some of your competitors' songs for Pesma. Is there a song that you've heard from one of your competitors this year that you're like, I'd want to put like the Zorja spin or like a little sauce on and kind of take and put your own stamp on that song?
Yes, I don't have to say which one is it, but of course, and I think I find inspiration in my competition, and I think that's the most important and beautiful thing in Pesmas Evroviziju. So yes, for sure, and yeah, there will be some imprints, maybe.
Okay, okay. I mean, I'm just looking forward to one of the things I love about the national selections is it brings together creators and potential collaborators in the
Yeah.
future. But thank you so much for taking the time and talking with me today. You've got a lot of fans out there who I know will be rooting for you.
Oh, thank you very much for inviting me. It was a pleasure also, and I hope to see you again soon.